Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to Touching the Stove, the show where we unpack contemporary issues through critical thinking, introspection, and communication theory. I am your dazzling host, Desiree Anani, and I'm joined by my dynamic host, Mr. Amadou C.
Thank you. Insert clapping sounds here. Editor, when you hear this, insert the... Yeah, I need that. Anyway. Oh, man. So, yeah, welcome back to episode 3 of Touching the Stove. Man, we got a lot to unpack here today. Before we get ahead of ourselves, let's introduce the communication theory that we'll be working with today and how that relates to Rizz versus romance. So, man, Desi, you brought another theory.
I did.
You did.
And I actually really like this one. So today's theory is social penetration theory. This theory was developed by Erwin Altman and DeMoss Taylor. It talks about the development of relationships being a gradual procedure where one can see their inner selves as a reflection of others. It talks about those layers of self-disclosures being set apart from superficial layers, which is kind of what we associate with Rizz, and then looking at those deeper connections, which is what we would typically associate with romance, where these different interactions impact our emotional depth and what we care to share on a personal level, right? And in order to do that, let's first define what Rizz is and how we can codify romance.
All right, so what is Rizz? Oh, for all my seasoned people out here.
Seasoned listeners.
My seasoned listeners. Yeah, so your well-seasoned folks out there, Rizz. Rizz is a subset of charisma, right? So you have charisma, and then through the beautiful evolution of the English language, somehow we turn charisma into Rizz. And how we're defining it today, Rizz, it is often used to refer to someone's skill or ability to charm or attract others, especially in a romantic or flirtatious context. It is more about the initial attraction or the ability to interest or intrigue someone. The term doesn't necessarily imply a deep emotional connection, but it rather focuses on the surface level charisma or the ability to pick up or impress someone else. You'll hear a lot of people say, "Oh, I rizzed her up," or like, and by people, I mean like, you know, the generation that shall not be named. Yeah, y'all. Some of y'all, a lot of y'all listen to us too. So y'all, yes, y'all know who you are. I'm talking anybody under the age of 22. I'm looking at y'all. It's time that we remind you what romance is. Desi, you are the perfect person to ask. What is, oh my goodness. Oh my, if you guys could see, we'll be introducing video into season 2. If you guys could see the face she just made, what is romance? Who hurt you?
Who hurt me?
Who hurt you?
No one. Your girl is whole, healthy, happy, and healed. So romance refers to a feeling of excitement and a little bit of mystery. It's talking about that emotional attachment that comes after a series of actions and or behaviors that shows love and affections towards another person. When we think of romance, we want to look at those interpersonal connections. We want to look at those grand gestures. We want to talk about what is necessary and what it takes to maintain and sustain a healthy relationship. And we also want to look at emotional intimacy. Yeah, I know some of y'all not ready for that.
Oh.
But we're gonna...
Oh.
But we also want to look at it in a more meaningful way, right? How do we establish those connections? And how do we get beyond the Rizz and dive into romance?
Well, first of all, there's nothing wrong with Rizz. Here's my question for you. Ready? Can you have romance without Rizz?
Oof, that's a good question. I think that there's a lack of intentionality and purpose.
Well, that's the point of Rizz, right? If I'm rizzing you, I'm coming with, first of all, if it worked, that means I have intentionality there.
But let's tap a little bit into, for our West African listeners and for those on the continent, Rizz is what we would call, say, toasting. It's what we will say to...
What?
To toast.
Say toasting?
Yeah, toasted.
Who calls it that?
Half of West Africa, the English speaking people. He toasted me. You didn't know that?
No, I didn't know that. Wait, in Senegal, we don't call it that.
What y'all call it?
That's a good question. I don't know. I'll get back to you. That's a good question. I don't know what we call that, but we call it. How would you say Rizz in French?
Rizz in French.
How would you say il a des caractères?
Pas de caractère, il est charmant.
Il est charmant, il a des caractères. Non, tu peux dire ça, il a des caractères. Il est fort. Il est en forme. Il est en forme. Wow.
We're intersectional over here.
How would you say it in Spanish? Oh. Ooh. Suavemente. That's how you would say it. Yes, sir.
But you know what we're talking about a little bit right now is that cultural perspective, right? And part of this conversation, we're going to be tapping into our West African roots and looking at how that plays a part in how we develop relationships, those social norms, and how we seek to be understood.
Before we go there, though. Oh, I had to cut you off. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Before we go there, I have a question. Has someone ever tried to rizz you up? And what did that look like to you?
So I love the homeland. I've gone every year for the last 2 years. And I remember taking a walk with my sisters. And we passed by this construction site, right? And, you know, I was cute that day. I was really kind of feeling myself. But there's something about somebody seeing that you're beautiful and letting you know that hits differently. So one of the gentlemen looked at me and he said, Tata Shoko, which is similar to like boss lady, like
Tata Shoko.
Shoko.
Did he just Aunt Chocolate?
Yeah.
Y'all are so corny.
No, but he said, I want to meet your parents so that I can thank them for giving birth to a beauty like you.
If this guy was so great at rizzing you up, right? Why didn't you give him a chance?
I didn't give him a chance because while he had charm and he was kind of, you know, cute, it lacked romance.
What do you mean?
You know?
Explain that. No, wait a minute. Explain. If I'm able to rizz you up, what? Not to sound ignorant, but like why do I need the romance if I can rizz you up? I don't understand.
This is not enough. Listen, a plant needs sunlight and water to survive.
So what is the rizz in this case?
The rizz
what is the rizz? Is
sunlight. And the romance is the water.
Okay, so you're speaking to the fundamental core differences and the way that we approach one another in a romantic sense.
Correct.
Right. So now that we've introduced the theory and we have the central sort of idea of where we're going with this, a lot of y'all might be wondering, okay, why are we here? Why should we care? Here's what I think based off of what I'm observing. I think Rizz is becoming the new form of romancing. And what I mean by that is, I think a lot of us are, you know, mastering the art of rizzing, the art of sort of courting and expressing interest in a romantic partner, but dropping the ball at sustaining it and enjoying it and nurturing it, much like you would a plant. You know, we might water it or we might leave it in the sun, but we don't do both. And the purpose of this episode is to, well, one, see if that's true. And B, if it is true, what can we do to ensure that we are nurturing the relationship? You following where I'm going with this, Desi? What do you think?
I am picking up what you are putting down. I think it is rather unfortunate that we've gotten away from what I dare say is the ancient craft of putting care and consideration into our relationships. I'd also say that it's very easy to be surface level, but it is significantly more challenging to have depth. Right now, it's a lot of talk and not a lot of action.
If you noticed in our generation, a lot of relationships aren't working out for various reasons. You know, sometimes people are just incompatible. Sometimes, you want different things, or you might choose your career over your partner. There's a lot of different reasons. But I do think that a lot of the examples that we have, I haven't seen a good romance movie since 2005.
Ooh, not a good romance movie.
I can't name one. Like, can you name a movie where like the romance was actually genuine? It wasn't some kooky guy or some unsuspecting opposites attract sort of situation, or it wasn't some circumstances made us fall in love type of, like,
you're not wrong, because Hallmark has the same 7 stories on replay, and they just changed the
exactly
setting, the characters, and maybe their names. So you might have a fair point there. It's really hard out here for a lover girl. Ladies, if you count yourself to be a lover girl, we struggling. So hopefully, fellas, if y'all hearing this out, this is your opportunity to have a life jacket and save what I think is a sinking ship.
Oh, okay. Explain.
I think that when we...
Oh, wait, so you agree?
Unfortunately.
Oh, what? Okay. Let me... You agree. Go ahead.
Rizz is what I think gets the door open, right? I think when you are trying to get to know someone, that banter, that flirty text, that playful, friendly conversation is great. But what happens after the joke?
So we have a lot of talking phases. We have entanglements. It feels like we have a word for everything but a relationship.
I mean, we have situationships. We have its complication statuses. We
Correct.
have everything. But when it comes to relationships, we seem to not dive into that. And I think that, again, there's a lot of emphasis on the chase, but there's not enough appreciation once you have the hunt.
So, to your point then, when does Rizz, or if it does, but when does Rizz transition into romance?
When does Rizz transition into romance? Well, I will start off by saying these contemporary examples that the IG models and some of our well-liked musicians are perpetuating is not what we should be pursuing. That is hashtag not.
It is the same picture every time. It's like she's holding in her well done nails. She's holding like a stack of money.
Correct.
And she's holding his hands. Like, the exact picture I'm talking about. They're in like some sort of exotic car, and chances are that car is rented.
Correct.
Sometimes that stack of money is just a prop. It's not even theirs. It's like
they are in debt their entire life.
Their credit score is 610
by borrowed money. So if we take the finances out of the conversation, if we take the flashy lifestyles outside of the conversation, if you are sitting there with someone, do you truly enjoy their company? How much do you really know the other person? Have you taken the time, effort, and energy to put in an investment to build a sustainable relationship? And honestly, I often say we are in an age of communication crisis and conflict resolution chaos. Because the moment something doesn't go the way someone wants, they free in the situation. On to the next.
And I think that's a shame, because no relationship is ever going to be perfect, or whatever you people call it these days. These entanglement relationships, situationships, whatever, sneaky linking, and
my man is not my man.
My man is not my man. Whatever y'all are calling it these days.
Side quests.
I do like side quests. Right now, I'm focusing. Right now, I am focusing on the main quest. So, having been there, done that, I think I'm a subject matter expert, and communicating how to be better.
And we love that for you.
Oh, thanks.
We're so proud of your growth and your development, because staying...
And trust me, this was not easy.
At the bottom doesn't help you get to the top. As I said about 2 to 3 minutes ago, it is hard out here for a lover girl. This finger is kind of empty, but it's waiting for that beautiful 3-carat.
You know what? Fun fact, you probably turned him down already. Yeah, statistically speaking, you turned that man down already.
down already.
You know, spin the block season is not over, fellas. You have until April. I repeat, spin the block season.
Please do not come back. When you left, we closed the door. That chapter is concluded.
Fellas.
And we are in a different book.
You know when I say fellas, she's chatting. She's chatting. Spin the block.
Dude,
send that text. Send that text.
So block and do not disturb.
If you needed a sign to spin the block, fellas, this is it. Go ahead, shoot that text, slide in that DM, say something, and ladies,
when he comes back with the Rizz and he hasn't demonstrated that he's done the work to bring the romance, block him,
fellas.
Ignore him,
fellas. Whatever you need to say to demonstrate that you're with the romance, say it. And then do it. But say it first.
Right. So that's the thing, right? So when we're talking about, from a cultural perspective, when we're looking at how to express care and consideration, when we're diving into those romantic expressions, what does that look like, dude? How can they be about the things that they say they're going to do and actually do it?
As a man, why are you not following up on things you said you were going to do? As a woman, why are you not holding yourself accountable and being receptive to the love you claim you wish to receive?
Oof. Are you saying that we're not receiving love because we don't know how to?
What I'm saying is similar to wisdom. When you receive wisdom from one source, over time it becomes stale. But when you receive wisdom from multiple sources, you can become a more holistic person. And what I'm simply saying is this. When, that guy that is in your DMs, the quiet, timid guy who, I'm an advocate for the people. That guy you keep leaving on red, maybe consider giving him a shot, that isn't me saying go ahead and
don't believe in charity anymore.
Oh. Fellas, listen, come correct or come with intentions. Because listen, they're not giving y'all a second chance. You're not even getting the first. So this is what you do. What does that look like to answer your question? First, you must demonstrate that you have long-term intentionality. And fellas, if you know that this girl is just a slider to you, or she's a lady of the night, or whatever the case is.
You're a little in the meantime shit.
If she's in the meantime, there's a way that you can let that be known without being disrespectful about it. On top of that, of course it depends on a woman. You can't just pull up on her and be like, yo, I'm just trying to me and you for the night. No. But what I am saying, in your attempt to get to know somebody, chances are your mind is made up within the first 10, 20 minutes of you meeting someone new. What you might want to do. If it's I could see this person being my person, or, and I ain't saying there's nothing wrong with either. Because, fellas, if she feeling you, she'll bend over backwards. It's that simple.
And the truth is, you don't have to lie to her. She will lie to herself.
Oh, and delusionally speaking.
And also, ladies, you don't have to lie to him. He will also lie to himself. Right? I think that we need to get very far away from having this ambiguity that leads to assumptions. Right? And what I mean by that is, again, Rizz is a lot of words. People can study words. People can study patterns, which kind of goes back to our theory that we mentioned earlier on. Social penetration is the ability to use our environment to have exchanges and also adjust accordingly. It looks at how we are internalizing what is around us and then also putting it back to what is surrounding us.
On top of that, there are different cultural competencies. What someone might do to Rizz somebody up in Washington, D.C. won't be the same thing that somebody from Philly might do or someone from New York might do, right? So you have to understand that there is a methodology to this. And all of this is just to get the door open. from what I'm seeing, we don't take the time to maintain and nurture it. And the reason I keep saying that and bring that up is because, again, what examples are we seeing where we're looking at something that is being maintained and nurtured over positive examples, something that's being maintained and nurtured over time? Because you can maintain and nurture something completely toxic, and I would argue if that's nurturing, but it can be sustained. And from what I'm seeing out here, a lot of the toxicity is the thing that's being sustained. And that's something we need to unlearn from a communications perspective. So that looks like changing your words, changing your approach, and demonstrating what it is that you want to and from the other person. So, in so doing, what is like a step one sort of thing? Desi, I open the floor up to you. If you want someone to come in and be charismatic, right? Correct. You want whoever is approaching you not to catcall you per se.
Absolutely.
But like, not to cat like, hey, ma, come in. No, but like, excuse me, young ma'am. Excuse me, young lady. You see, my Rizz game is boo-boo. You see, like...
Yeah, he needs a little help.
I need a little help. You see, I'm old school with it.
The game, right?
So, you feel me? Coaches never play. Feel me?
Screaming. But listen, I think that there's value in reading the room. There is value in knowing your target audience, right? I think that if you don't know where you are going...
Oh, so step one would be observation.
Well, not even observation.
Right.
Step one would be having a goal.
So you're saying, wait a minute. So how can I Rizz you if I don't have a goal?
Some of these people are walking around with no sense. And because
so they're walking around fatherless, one would say.
So I'll give you a keynote example. You're at the mall.
Okay.
Right? And you see a group and someone within that group catches your eye. What is your first step? If your goal is to go over there and have a conversation, great. If your goal is to go over there, have a conversation, and exchange contact information, great. If your goal is to simply provide a compliment and keep it pushing, also great. Know what it is that you're going to do before you do it. Now is not the time to think about what color your socks are or what you had for dinner last week. We don't care.
Unless it's impacting your breath. So step 2 is making sure that you come correct.
Right.
Right?
I think that you have to position yourself for the things that you want. And very often there is a lot of overpromise and underdelivery, which leads to disappointment.
Or cognitive dissonance.
Come on. If you... And also, we're talking social interactions, we're talking group settings, we're talking group dynamics. If you're at a party...
Whoa. First of all, what kind of party is this? Did I pull up in sweats and everybody's in dresses? What?
Ooh,
yeah.
Memo.
Step 2, coming correct. Where are you? Who are you with?
And not only that, but how are you trying to present yourself?
Real spill. Like, okay, do I got the mismatched socks and like, you know, I got the slides, the Nike Tech. Is like, where am I at? Am I at the grocery store? Am I at the Met? If I was at the Met Gala in sweats, geez.
To retire the cargo shorts and Sperry shoes.
Oh,
I'm talking to
I
my
hate that.
Posh suburban gentlemen. Fellas, we've seen it. We know it's tried and true.
Free it.
But let's have some novelty and some personality.
I'm tempted to say to retire the turtleneck and gold chain combo, but wait a minute, but not for the reason you might think. It's too obvious. Y'all are on to us.
Listen, the Chelsea boots, okay?
I'm not freeing those.
I like that.
Oh,
I like that. No, but you see, when a man steps into the room with his Chelsea boots, you know he probably standing on business. He takes himself.
But wait a minute. But he knows y'all know that. So if my intentions are negative,
goodness,
you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, chances are if I'm wearing that fit, I know what I'm doing, right? Right? And then it's up to you to decide. Wow, And this is where another reason why romance breaks down. It's up to you now to decide if my intentions are genuine or not. I could have said that they were.
Right. But you have to show me.
Exactly.
Lean
But
into
like,
that.
again, I'm showing you just enough to get whatever it is that I wanted from you.
So what you're saying is give us a little teaser, a little preview, and let us see if we want to see the full movie.
I'm not even saying that. What I'm saying is, if I have the turtleneck, gold chain,
Right.
Chelsea boots, fresh cut,
Oof.
Dior Sauvage cologne. I knew what I was doing.
You knew what you
Okay.
were doing.
I'll put minty fresh gum in the mouth. You know,
What's your mission, dude?
see. Now, am I by myself? Am I with my boys? My mission changes depending on the set.
So you stepped up that way, right? What are you saying?
So it depends. Where is she? Who is she with? Right? Is she tall? Is she short? You know, if she's short, she like, first of all, if you anything under 6 foot, little girl, you know, I'm looking at you like, well, listen, little girl.
Oh, goodness.
I understand you out with your friends or whatever, but let me talk to you for a second.
Let me talk to you for a second.
Let me just...
Let me take you aside
Yeah.
and have a conversation. I'm trying to get to know you.
First of all, you one of the most beautiful walks of life I've ever seen.
One of the ladies.
Feel me? So
You see how they work? Okay.
I'm just saying.
So I
First
see-
of all,
I
y'all
see-
make it so.
I see pictures.
Y'all make it so easy.
Ah,
Like, fellas, it's really. You want to know why everybody is rizzing? Because it's easy.
it is.
Romance is hard.
It requires effort.
It requires so much. I mean, romance can be fulfilling and it can feel easy, but romance the prerequisite for romance is intention and intentions matching and expectations being realistic. That is one of the prerequisites for romance. Also a little element of mysteriousness, but mysteriousness in a good way. You know, you don't want to be predictable. Oh, chicken Alfredo again for Valentine's Day. Lucky me. Lucky me.
Or
No, and you know that's the dish. Every Valentine's Day, what do they cook? You see it. I want next time, I want you to go on Instagram and see the ladies who cook, see what they made there, man. I bet you it's pasta related. If they love them, maybe there's some shrimp in it.
maybe if it was, you know, shrimp is expensive these days.
You see?
But okay.
Maybe even a lobster if she got it like that.
Ooh.
But I bet you it's pasta.
But anywho, so gentlemen, we are tired of the teddy bears. We have a full Build-A-Bear collection. Pick something.
But it works.
It don't work for me.
But it but it works though.
Nah.
So and that's the
The
problem.
ladies have had a meeting and the council has decided we want something different. We want something that lets us know that you actually thought of us. We want something that lets us know you
Okay.
listen.
No, hold on, wait a minute. Let me attack you then.
Okay.
Should we stop giving women flowers?
Ooh. But I think that, like, okay, so not every woman likes flowers. Let's be 100% honest. Some women might be really happy if you pulled up with a box of chicken wings.
I'm not going to say what I thought, but
Like,
I'm not going to
some
say what I thought,
want
but
to eat.
I can't wait till we introduce video because the way you got hyped, fellas,
All flats.
when you courting
jokes.
Desiree, pull up with the Wingstop, the 20 piece. Don't be cheap. The 20 piece, fries, lemon pepper. Look, yeah. Don't be
Yo,
cheap.
Don't be cheap.
Don't be cheap. Valentine's Day is coming up. Don't be cheap.
Listen, and again, not every woman likes flowers. Some of them can see them as a chore or responsibility. Like, for example, I like roses as much as the next girl, right? But that's not my favorite flower.
What's your favorite flower?
Sunflowers.
Really?
Yeah. But
Where would one get a sunflower this time of year?
exactly. Go look for it. Demonstrate effort and intentionality. Figure it out. Find it.
Oh, you see? And just like how I immediately like where would I even get a sunflower?
Right.
right? I'm not even courting you. And in my mind, I'm like, where would I even get a sunflower? Like I don't even know. But you're saying step 3 is figure out what it is that I like, right. And rather than just settling or rather than doing the bare minimum,
doing the repeated routine,
right?
Deviate and be original.
Okay, but honest question, where would I even get a sunflower?
There's sunflower patches.
Where?
I mean,
don't look it up. See, you don't know. So how you going? But I guess that would be for me to figure out, right?
I can get myself sunflowers. That's not a problem. But
it's not going to hit the same though. It's not going to hit this. It's like, okay, like I could buy myself 2K, right? But like, if she buys me 2K, like
it meant more.
Yeah, it meant more. Though, do not buy me 2K. I do not like 2K. But
do not buy me 2K.
I don't like 2K anymore.
He does not like 2K. But what we're saying is...
But that new Tekken, though.
Oh, goodness.
I already bought it for myself. Don't worry.
Okay. If you want to get beyond that initial spark, if you want to get beyond that initial attraction, then be willing to do the work.
Do the work. And that's where the breakdown is coming from. It's like we've gotten the flowers, the teddy bears, the chicken Alfredo, the whatever it is, right? And
bring back the love letters. And bring back the mixtapes.
Actually, did the mixtapes, but like definitely bring back the love letters. I am with that. Bring back the jukebox outside the window.
Okay.
I would love to see somebody do that.
Off of That's So Raven. Like, let me know that you care about the artist that I'm listening to.
Bring back, and we're not even saying like do these extravagant things. Don't get us wrong. We're not saying
do is saying don't do them. Desi's saying make the grand gesture. Let your affections be known.
But I'm also saying you don't always have to.
Right.
You like if she might not like or he might not like grand gestures.
Right. No.
Right. And remember, it's a 2-way streak. Like I can romance you all day, but if you're not reciprocating, like you got to help me. Right. Again, that goes men and women.
We're not necessarily talking consistency because that kills mystery. We're talking. We want increments. We want surprises.
Correct.
We want, and again, I think that is why romance and the art of being romantic is slowly fading and fizzling out. People are not doing the things that would make you go, ooh and ah. They're doing the things that you go, oh, okay, thank you.
So, question, because one thing I always hear, give me money, give me money. Okay.
Give me money.
If I give you, hypothetically, I give you a stack.
Okay.
Just boom, here, baby, here go a stack of cash. Is that romantic?
No.
A lot of women would disagree with you. Oh, look at my baby. He gave me this. Look at this. And they take the picture on the gram.
Absolutely not.
Why is that not romantic, but the jukebox outside the window is?
So I think that the most invaluable resource that we all have is time, right? You can give money and you can make that money back. I think this is I'm going to tap a little bit into these love languages, right? Okay. So I'm sure that you all are familiar with the 5 Love Languages by Gary Chapman. And different people want to receive love and affection differently. And they also give love differently. For me personally, I am a quality time type of woman. Spend time with me. Even if it just means merely coexisting in the same space while we are both doing our own thing.
But I would argue that's not romantic, though, just coexisting.
No, it is romantic because you could have been anywhere else. You could have been doing anything else, but you chose to be here with me.
But suppose that is what you do as a couple. You spend a lot of time with each other.
Okay, so now once we are in that space, let's make sure we're having conversations.
So does that preclude then going out on dates?
Yes.
Frequently. No, hold on, hear me out. Keyword frequently.
Okay, frequently. That is a question. Dates don't have to be expensive.
Right.
right? Dates don't have to be expensive.
You can go on a date and not spend a dime.
You can go on. Listen, go to the museum. Go to the art gallery.
Well, hold on. Museums
library.
in DC are free, but like if you go to a museum in Philly, you paying. Yeah, that's gonna hurt.
Wait on those city free days.
Okay, yeah, I like that.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's cold right now, but when the weather is a little nicer, take a stroll around the park. There are things that you can do that won't hurt your wallet or hurt you.
Correct. And I'm in complete agreement with that. And there are things that you can do. And even if, like, okay, let's say you're balling on a budget. Who isn't these days? You're balling on a budget. You want to do something romantic for your significant other, right? Let's say you don't necessarily want to go out, but you still want to do something, right? What does that look like? What does that intentionality look like?
I mean, hey, let's do a DIY in the house.
Yeah, paint and sip.
Sip and paint. Let's cook a meal together, right? We gotta eat regardless. So why don't we share the kitchen, share the space? Why don't... I am actually very much a fan of asking your partner questions, right? Everybody comes to the table with 5 questions that they probably haven't asked before, things that they want to know. Create a space where you can be vulnerable, where you can communicate, when you can learn more about each other.
Journal together.
Journal, ooh, I like that.
Journal together. I'm so serious. That is a crazy way to get intimate with, I mean, non-sexually, but like intimate. Like, you know, once a week, you guys write like journals to each other or something like that. And then at the end of the week, you share them. Share them
and also take turns creating the prompt.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
You know, let me know.
Kahoot that, John.
Come on. I mean, there are ways that you can explore getting to know a person and actually be serious about it.
Question for you.
Listening.
Do we want romance these days? Do we even want that? Are we speaking for ourselves? Or can we honestly say we're speaking for our peers?
I would hope for the sanctity of what we consider to be real relationships, romantic relationships, that yes, we want romance. I dare say that the challenge that we're facing is we have lost how to cultivate that. And also people don't necessarily feel safe having
a safe space.
Yeah, like I had a conversation. I'm in an echo chamber with these conversations about women leaning into their femininity, right? One thing that is really big for me is feeling like I can be safe with my partner, feeling like I can be vulnerable, feeling like I can share my thoughts, ideas, and questions, and it be a place where there's no retaliation.
And for you have to cultivate that space though. And like, again, for like the masculinity side of things, the opposite end of that, when you're opening up to someone, you know, that does not look like, hey, I shared this with you and then later on in a fight you threw this in my face, or hey, I'm kind of insecure about X, Y, and Z, and then later on you kind of use that as a way to get what you wanted. You know, like it is setting boundaries, and like setting a line that you will not cross for the sanctity of your partnership, whatever it is that you want to be in. If it's an entanglement, have those rules and guidelines defined. If it's a relationship, have it defined. But for whatever, and you know what's crazy? Fun fact. Entanglements and situationships and friends with benefits statistically requires more communication than an actual relationship.
And that's crazy to me. But again, you said something that I think we need to revisit, right? Let's talk about those boundaries. Let's talk about our level of comfort. Let's also talk about our level of being uncomfortable. And let's look at, you mentioned the word toxic earlier. Sometimes people will see something peaceful and feel as though it is not engaging, feel as though it's not exciting enough because they want it to be volatile. They want it to be toxic. I think we need to redefine our definition of what it means to be in a healthy, happy, whole, healed relationship.
I have literally heard women say, and I want you to put me in my place. Like, what? Like, you are an adult. What does that mean? Put yourself in your place. I shouldn't have to do that. You know, like, I understand it though, because it's like, it's coming from a place of, I want my man to demonstrate aspects of what might be toxic masculinity and to dominate the situation in a way that A, is exhausting, it's just not sustainable, and B, isn't conducive to what you are hopefully trying to build if it is healthy and sustainable. And well, we need to do an episode about sustainability at this point.
Another aspect of that is, I think we need to divorce ourselves from this narrative of struggle, like, and he put me through hell and I stayed, or she put me through hell and I stayed.
Wait a minute, you saw acrimony. Wait a minute. It can work out.
It's not worth it.
Listen, the struggle of, I'm not saying suffer, but what I am saying is sometimes it works out.
Sometimes it works out, but insanity, the pure, clean, honest truth to the definition of insanity, is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. If you are not content with the person that you are now, or if you are not content with your partner, have that be expressed. If they let you know that they are not willing to make changes and adjustments, then if that's the bed that you decided to make,
then
I hope you are comfortable sleeping in it.
Take accountability. Is that what you're saying? Yeah, take
Be accountable. Be responsible. Be adults. Be grown.
Oh, be grown. And be healed. Do not come to me with your baggage. I am not your bellhop. Leave your baggage at the door, miss. Not having it, though.
Not having it. No, but honestly, let's also free the trauma bonds.
Oh.
Let's free the trauma bonds.
Oh, but those would be the most entertaining
and
relationships.
That's where the Rizz comes in.
Hey.
And we don't see the romance, right? You were able to get my attention. You were able to pique my interest. You were able to talk to me and make me feel quote unquote comfortable.
Easily at that.
I don't know how easy, but something was done. It was enough to continue a conversation. But once that conversation ended, what happened next?
And the next is what we're not seeing. That sustainability, that enjoyment.
We talking love. We're talking social penetration. We're talking establishing values to have relationships. And we owe it to ourselves to be honest. Also establish these goals in our relationships. And I know we leaned in and we started talking about romance, but let's also make that platonic, right? Are you showing up for the people that show up for you?
Correct.
Are you putting time, effort, and energy and investment in those relationships? Because if the answer is no,
you'll wake up one day and find yourself with no one.
Come on.
I'm so serious.
Say it again. They didn't hear you.
And you'll wake up one day and find yourself with no one.
You cannot treat people like they are disposable. You cannot treat people like they have an expiration date or a limited warranty. We are talking feelings. We are talking thoughts. We are talking well-being. And we need to be more responsible with the way that we choose to move. So let's get beyond Rizz and actually make an attempt at romance.
I'm with that. And thank you for listening to yet another episode of Touching the Stove. We'll be back. Episode 4. Episode 4 is woohoo. Yep. This was the calm before the storm. And we can't wait to see you guys next episode. I've been your host, Amadou C.
And I've been your darling of a co-host, Desiree Anani. And that is Touching the Stove.